A feminist is anyone who recognizes the equality and full humanity of women and men. I began to understand that self-esteem isn't everything, it's just that there's nothing without it. Without leaps of imagination or dreaming, we lose the excitement of possibilities. Dreaming, after all, is a form of planning. Power can be taken, but not given. The process of the taking is empowerment in itself. The first problem for all of us, men and women, is not to learn, but to unlearn. God may be in the details, but the goddess is in the questions. Once we begin to ask them, there's no turning back. If the shoe doesn't fit, must we change the foot? Some of us are becoming the men we wanted to marry. Law and justice are not always the same. A gender-equal society would be one where the word gender does not exist, where everyone can be themselves. Perfect is boring, beauty is irregular. A woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle. Being misunderstood by people whose opinions you value is absolutely the most painful. Logic is in the eye of the logician. Hope is a very unruly emotion. Nothing changes the gender equation more significantly than women's economic freedom. The first resistance to social change is to say it's not necessary. We'll never solve the feminization of power until we solve the masculinity of wealth. The surest way to be alone is to get married. The same way that racism is a white person's problem, violence against women is a men's problem. The surest way to be alone is to get married. A pedestal is as much a prison as any small, confined space. The future depends entirely on what each of us does every day. A movement is only people moving. Most American children suffer too much mother and too little father. The Miss America pageant reinforces a belief that women are merely how they look and how they please. Men should think twice before making widowhood woman's only path to power. A liberated woman is one who has sex before marriage and a job after. A liberated woman is one who has sex before marriage and a job after. The authority of any governing institution must stop at its citizens' skin. Perfectionism attaches to what is valued in the culture. We can tell our values by looking at our checkbook stubs. You can compel fear, you can even make someone feel they're in love if they're isolated and dependent for long enough. But laughter is free. Anger is energizing. The opposite of anger is depression, which is anger turned inward. We need to remember across generations that there is as much to learn as there is to teach. Like so many women, I was living out the unlived life of my mother so I wouldn't be her, but the price I paid was that I distanced myself internally. Until the masculine role is humanized, women will tend to be much better at solving dangerous conflicts. Most women are one man away from welfare. There's no greater gift than thinking that you had some impact on the world for the better. Gender is probably the most restricting force in American life. In a way, women are a psychic immigrant group.